Welcome in, everybody. It's a Wednesday. That means only one thing. It's time now for Supernatural News and Parashare on a Wednesday here on Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there is our co-hostess. She's intelligent. She's beautiful. She's funny. She's everything I ever hoped to be and more. Maybe she was even a beauty queen. I wanted to be that once myself. Here she is, Jessica Freeburg. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Is that weird that I wanted to be a beauty queen? I mean, I was a hell of a baseball player, but never a beauty queen. Is that odd?
I think you could pull it off. I can see you in a gown, an evening gown with the heels. And
It's just, it takes a weed whacker to shave my back and my legs. Is that odd too? I mean, just saying.
We just wax it for you. Just a little hot whack.
Have you ever tried to hot wax a spaghetti noodle? I mean, I just... there's problems.
It'll only hurt a lot.
Yeah, only a lot. Big show today, folks. Lots of UFO stories. By the way, we have a couple of different Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster stories today. For some reason, summer brings out the monsters.
I love it.
That's a good reason not to swim. I found that out.
That's true.
Yeah. I saw somebody's Instagram or somebody's TikTok had something about summer means monsters. And I was like, that's a good reason not to go outside. Yeah. I didn't find that encouraging.
No.
Yeah.
No hikes in the mountains for you.
No. When somebody says that to me, I think David Paulides in Missing 411. When you say summer means monsters, I go, yeah, that's not a happy thing. You know, that's like saying summer means serial killers. It's not a, it's not a happy memory. You probably want to tone that one down on social media. Just saying. But I digress. We should probably get to the news. Unless you've got, I don't know, do you have pressing business? Do you have a, other than, by the way, at the end of the program, we will mention that you have a code up for your new trips that we're excited to talk about, that you can save a little bit of money for the trips that Ghost Stories Inc. has coming up in the winter.
Just for you guys, because I love you.
Look at that. See? So if you'd like to go to the Palmer House with Ghost Stories, Inc. this winter, you can do so, and you can do so on a little bit of a discount if you're under a bit of a budget. So Jessica's got that set up for you. We'll tell you a little bit about that at the end of the program. So there you go. I like that.
Here's your tease.
There's your tease for you. So we'll start off today's program by telling you about the clearest ever UFO photo showing a spaceship chased by a fighter jet. And that photo's been found after 30 years, Jess.
Ooh.
For years, the Clavine Photo was the stuff of legend. That was until it was tracked down by a professor. He's now revealed what the men who took it thought they saw. On August 4th of 1990, which really isn't that long ago. I mean, if you're older folks, you're like, oh, 1990, that wasn't that long ago. That was 30 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yikes.
It makes me feel old.
And I know, right? Two hikers set off on a walk in the Scottish Highlands a short time ago in 1990. Just saying. Little did they know they were about to capture what has since been dubbed the clearest UFO photo ever. The image, which is known as the Clavine Photo, after the hamlet close to where it was taken, would subsequently be lost. But it was only lost a short time ago, just in 1990. I mean, that was just 10 years ago, right? I mean, it's not very long ago. I mean, 1990 was only 10 years ago, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, a short time ago. Turning it into the stuff of legend for 3 decades. It wasn't 3 decades ago. It was 10 years ago.
Oh.
A short time ago. I mean, it's like losing your car keys. You find it the next day. I mean, it's just, right? I don't know.
Oh, we're old, Tim. We're old.
But thanks to 13 years of tireless work from Professor David Clark, a former journalist and academic at Sheffield Hallam University, the photo was tracked down by a bunch of people who can't remember where they put their car keys the day before. Just saying. Professor Clark managed to find former RAF press officer Craig Lindsay, who had kept hold of a photo showing what the two men witnessed that day. In the photo, a large flying saucer-like craft was clearly visible with a fighter jet spotted in close pursuit. The hikers had given the photo to the Daily Record newspaper in Scotland, but it was later passed to the British Ministry of Defence, where it was kept under wraps until 2022. Professor Clark told Newsweek the Daily Record's picture editor at the time sent them to Craig Lindsay, who was the RAF press officer in Scotland. He passed the print to the Ministry of Defence in London. The Ministry of Defence in London then asked him to obtain the negatives. So he went back to the Daily Record, asked the Daily Record to send the negatives to London, which they duly did, quite amazingly, and that's when they disappeared. Well, no wonder they got lost. They kept shuffling them between like 18 different people.
Yeah, it's went everywhere.
Yeah, so you might as well just lose them. Despite the coverage given to the photograph, the two hikers have never come forward to tell their side of the story. However, Lindsay told Clark what he knew of their encounter. The two men had reportedly been working as chefs at a hotel in the Scottish Highlands when they decided to take a walk in Clavine one evening in August of 1990. That was when they saw the mysterious object flying above them. Professor Clark, speaking to Newsweek, said they saw this thing in the sky and it scared them. They ran into some woodland to sort of keep their heads down, and they heard this jet come down in the valley, and then 2 minutes later, it returned and started circling around the object. And that's when they took the photographs. To this day, what the men saw and recorded remains a mystery. I'm trying to see if there's a decent photograph. Oh, here it is. Here's the photograph right here, Jess. And here is what they saw.
Oh, wow. That's like straight out of a movie.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, that's almost a little too good to be true, right?
Yeah. If we saw that today, we would think that it was photoshopped or, like AI generated.
Yeah, but it truly is it truly is a real photo. But it does. It looks like it's a straight out of the 50s. It looks like
that's the cool thing about like older stuff. I hate to say that 1990 was a long time ago, but at least there wasn't AI stuff to be, muddying the waters. That's legit. Yeah,
it's a legitimate celluloid film picture of what looks like a classic craft, your classic flying saucer and a fighter jet flying right past it. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Our next story is, I would say, a little sketchier, but it's coming from a good place. And that is from a NASA astronaut who's captured eerie red lights glowing above Earth from the space station. This one, Jess, is absolutely creepy.
Oh, that is wild.
Isn't it?
Is it just me, or does it look like the devil playing the guitar?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a Crossroads feel to it. It's weird. Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's weird.
And I'll tell you what, I'll post this story in the description of the show so you guys can see this picture to see what it is we're talking about. A cosmic flash of spooky red light has been spotted by a NASA astronaut floating high in the Earth's atmosphere. The red sprite was captured by the commander of the SpaceX Crew 8 mission, Matthew Dominic, hanging around South Africa, but scientists have said there's no need to plan for an alien invasion just yet. The eerie space phenomena is simply the result of a bizarre weather event. It's hard to believe that's from a weather event.
I don't think so.
It's weird.
Not buying it.
Red sprites happen over thunderstorm clouds in the area known as the mesosphere. Scientists are fascinated by the celestial shapes, which occur due to discharges of lightning between the cloud and the ground. Dominic shared his amazing photo on social media, and he said, "Super lucky a few weeks ago when shooting a time lapse of a lightning storm off the coast of South Africa. One of the frames in the time lapse had a red sprite." which I believe is limited edition in your cooler there at the grocery store. If there are any red Sprite experts out there, I would enjoy tips on how to capture more of these. Clearly, look for lightning storms, but I'm thinking the stronger the storm, the better. You don't have to be an astronaut to see a red Sprite. They have been photographed from the ground and from planes, but much more research and evidence is needed before their true nature is properly understood. NASA wants people to get in touch with their own photos. A spokesperson for the space agency urged followers to share and help scientists study the electric discharges in greater detail. It said, while space station crews hunt for TLEs from space, you can help right here on Earth. Send your photographs of sprites and other TLEs to NASA's Citizen Science Project. Spritacular is the name of it. To celebrate, I know, isn't that catchy? To contribute to a crowdsourced database that professional scientists can use for research. It comes after another NASA astronaut spoke about his own experiences in space and a sobering realization when he looked down at his home planet. Ron Guerin, now retired, spent 178 days in space, traveling 71 miles in 2,842 orbits. Giving a talk at the Big Think, he recalled the exact moment it occurred to him that we have been living a lie. That's a quote. He said humans had given too much time and focus to the wrong things. Instead, he said we should be acting on environmental issues as a priority. Ron said, when I looked out the window of the International Space Station, I saw the paparazzi-like flashes of lightning storms. I saw dancing curtains of auroras that seemed so close, it was as if we could reach out and touch them. And I saw the unbelievable thinness of our planet's atmosphere. In that moment, I was hit with the sobering realization that this paper-thin layer keeps every living thing on our planet alive. I saw an iridescent biosphere teeming with life. I didn't see the economy, but since our human-made systems treat everything, including the very life support systems of our planet, as the wholly owned subsidiary of the global economy, it's obvious from the vantage point of space that we're living a lie. Exploring the further lie further, he continued, it's obvious from the vantage point of space that we're living a lie. We need to move from thinking economy, society, planet to planet, society, economy. That's when we're going to continue our evolutionary process. There's this light bulb that pops up where they realized how interconnected and interdependent we all are. Interesting thinking. But it's easier to think locally, economy, everything else when you're in it. It's harder to think. It's harder to think about lightning flashes and whatnot when you're sitting on the ground.
Still think it's Satan playing the electric guitar, but that's just me.
It is easier to think Satan playing the electric guitar when you look at it, Jess. I mean, it's one thing to have the luxury. I don't want to say luxury. Maybe that's the wrong word. It's easier to think of. No, you know what? I'm going to use the word luxury. It's nice to have the luxury of having a job like that and being able to be up in space and being able to look down on the earth.
Yeah.
And see those phenomena and go, oh, it's, when you're up here, it's, you see things from a different point of view and we should really change our focus and blah, 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 and have a godlike look on the way the world is. But when you're in the mire and the shit of everything, you're in the mire and the shit of everything. It's hard to look down on things when you're in the middle of it all.
Yep. Especially when you're just trying to figure out how to buy groceries and make your house payment or your rent payment or your car payment.
That's right. Because when you're in space, someone's probably doing that for you. You probably have a significant other who's doing that for you. And if you don't, you probably have it on auto pay or you have an accountant or somebody or, it's probably being taken care of for you. So you're probably not worried about all that.
Right. So,
it's one thing to, I don't know. I'm going to get off my soapbox here before I stick my foot further in my mouth. But it's just, you know, I get it. Yeah, there's this thin layer that's keeping us all on the planet, but that thin layer's been there for a while too. You know, I mean,
probably not totally going anywhere.
No, I doubt it.
Hope.
I doubt somebody's going to peel that thin layer off the planet and we're all going to get sucked into space tomorrow, but God forbid. But, you know, I think we have a bit before that happens. Just saying. Knock on wood. Let's move on to our next story. Scientists have confirmed the first ever discovery of a cave on the moon, Jess. An interesting little story. This cave and others like it could one day provide the perfect place, to build a lunar settlement. Well, they always said the moon was made out of Swiss cheese, and there's probably a mouse up there. That's what I'm thinking.
Probably.
Yeah, big mouse. Probably Mickey Mouse. I don't know. Thought to descend 100 meters beneath the lunar surface, this fascinating opening into a hidden subterranean world was discovered by Lorenzo Bruzioni and Leonardo Carrere at the University of Trento in Italy, who used radar to penetrate a pit situated in the moon's Mare Tranquillati region. I have a feeling this was found by Italians, Jess, I think is what happened in this deal. The cave was probably formed by lava flows millions or even billions of years ago. While the researchers were able to determine that a cave exists at the site, it is currently impossible to determine just how far the cave might extend away from the opening. This means that there could be a whole network of caverns beneath the lunar surface. It's really exciting, said Professor Carrere. When you make these discoveries and you look at these images, you realize you're the first person in the history of humanity to see it. It's not difficult to imagine a future mission to the moon in which astronauts descend into this mysterious cave in an attempt to explore further beneath the lunar surface. It might even be possible to build a base inside of it. After all, life on Earth begins in caves, so it might make sense that humans could live inside them on the moon, said Professor Carrere. Well, here's the issue. Does it contain oxygen? Because you're not going to live very long without oxygen in a cave. Just saying.
Good point.
Yeah. Unless you've got oxygen and some sort of atmosphere and maybe some daylight, I don't think you're going to live very long. Just saying. Far be it from me being a pessimist or anything, but there's that small detail. Let's talk about some new technology set to transform the search for alien life. The Breakthrough Listen project will be utilizing new developments and innovations in its hunt for ET. Launched back in 2016 with the help of the late physicist Professor Stephen Hawking and Israeli entrepreneur Yuri Milner, Breakthrough Listen's goal is to scour the night skies for signs of alien technosignatures out in deep space. Widely considered to be the most comprehensive search for extraterrestrial intelligence ever undertaken, the project has utilized more than $100 million in funding to scour the heavens using state-of-the-art telescopes for evidence that we are not alone in the universe. At its annual conference this week, the group is reportedly set to reveal a number of new technologies and innovations that will transform the search for alien life. There are amazing technologies that are under development, such as the construction of huge new telescopes in Chile, Africa, and Australia, as well as developments in AI, said project scientist Steve Croft. They are going to transform how we look for alien civilizations. These new telescopes include the Square Kilometer Array, which is made up of hundreds of separate radio telescopes, as well as the Vera Rubin Observatory in Chile, which once operational will be able to photograph the entire night sky at once and discover countless new stars and galaxies. Until now, we've been restricted to looking for signals deliberately sent out by aliens to advertise their existence, said Croft. The new techniques are going to be so sensitive that for the first time, we will be able to detect unintentional transmissions as opposed to deliberate ones, and we'll be able to spot alien airport radar or powerful TV transmitters, things like that, which is an interesting technology. That's for sure. What do you think, Jess? Are we going to catch aliens at their own game now?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. It's about time, those sneaky aliens.
Right. I'm waiting for it. I'm here for it.
Me too. It's about time we catch those aliens at their own game. Sneaky transmissions and just thinking they can go around the galaxy throwing transmissions beneath our noses. Why?
Right. They're just always spying on us and watching us. And
yeah. I know. I've known they've had a plan all along. I don't know. Now I'm just talking smack.
Oh.
I don't know why we assume they communicate with radio waves. Don't you think that they send stuff out on DVD? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't you think they have like a DVD club where we should order like 12 of them for a penny or something?
They're running Redbox.
Yeah, oh, by the way, did you see Redbox went out of business this past week?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're done.
Well, it makes sense. Everybody's streaming everything.
Yep, everything's being streamed. Well, Redbox tried to go to streaming. They had an app and everything at one point.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, they didn't advertise it well enough. I probably would have added that to my list. I've got them all.
Yeah, Redbox, they tried going to an app-based system and they failed at that miserably, and they were behind the times.
Oh, shoot.
Yep. So what I wonder is now that Redbox has gone the way of the dodo, what are they going to do with all those DVDs?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Donate them?
I don't know.
We'll need them in our cellars where we, have the bomb shelter for when the world ends.
That's right. We're going to need entertainment. Someone's going to need all that entertainment. Either that or you donate them to skeet shooters. They're going to need some targets. I mean, so someone's going to need all those copies of Moonstruck to shoot at. Just saying. I mean, why not? Our next, what's that?
I said, good movie.
Yeah, good movie. Well, it is if you're shooting at it. I mean, no, I'm kidding. Our next story has to do with the Pentagon, and they're publishing the analysis of the 1947 Roswell UFO crash debris. Now, interestingly enough, when we were talking to Mitch Horowitz last week, have you watched the show Alien Encounters, Fact or Fiction?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see in the second episode, the geologist who had the little piece of crash debris?
Yes.
Okay, so when they tested that, they found it was pure aluminum and it had a little bit of crash blast on it. And Mitch had said he believed he had a piece of crash debris from Roswell.
Right.
Well, the U.S. government has tested the bit of material that they believed was recovered in 1947. That sample that many believed was extraterrestrial in origin had been sent to a lab for analysis. Now, back in 2022, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, the Pentagon's official UFO investigation office, sent a sample of unidentified material to Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The material was of particular interest to the UFO community because it was allegedly a piece of debris from the object that crashed near Roswell, New Mexico back in 1947. Now the results of the lab analysis have finally been published. This specimen has been publicly alleged to be a component recovered from a crashed extraterrestrial vehicle in 1947 and purportedly exhibits extraordinary properties such as functioning as a terahertz waveguide to generate anti-gravity capabilities, AARO wrote in a press release. Considering all available evidence, AARO assesses that this specimen is likely a test object, a manufacturing product or byproduct, or a material component of aerospace performance studies to evaluate the properties of magnesium alloys. In other words, there's nothing about it that suggests it has extraterrestrial origins.
Of course not. They wouldn't tell us even if it did.
That's right. There's a lot of backpedaling here. The other quote here is, although the origin, chain of custody, and ultimate purpose of the specimen remains unclear, a modern and robust analysis of its chemical and structural composition and properties does not indicate that its origin is non-terrestrial, Oak Ridge Laboratory wrote in its report. Nor do the data indicate that the material examined ever had the pure single crystalline bismuth layer that could possibly have acted as a terahertz waveguide. So while the findings don't necessarily rule out the possibility that the material is from an extraterrestrial spacecraft, as things stand, there's no evidence to suggest that it is either. So here's the deal. It says, well, it may not be extraterrestrial in nature, but who's to say that what landed at Roswell was from another galaxy? Who's to say that maybe they weren't just time travelers?
Yeah, good point.
Maybe they were from our Earth. Maybe it's our technology from the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting because there's a comment in the story that I'm reading here that says I'm changing sides. I mean, with provenance like this, who wouldn't be impressed with that sort of sterling work? Brought to you by the utter meatheads at Arrow. Then it says FFS, or for blank sake. They might as well have grabbed some lunch wrap from their lunchroom trash bin and sent that off for analysis. What an utterly moronic waste of time. It must have been a cover-up. In other words, who's really to trust Arrow anymore?
I don't think we can.
No.
Personally.
It seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same. You know, they take the little bits and pieces that have been nicely recovered from this bit in history. Even the material that the Marcells had, you know, Jesse Marcel Jr. had. This wonderful material that could do all this fantastic stuff that people have said the Marcells have shown them that looks like tinfoil, but has this wonderful property that does so much. And they say there's no way that it could be from Earth. And, oh, well, that's probably just from a weather balloon. It's probably Mylar. Come on. You know, there's just no way. But again, whatever they can do in order to deny it so that, you know, the government can get one more up. You know, it's just one more misleading thing until they figure out how they're going to wrap their head around this and spin this the way they want to so that it's palatable for us, so that they can stay ahead of this and use it to their advantage. That's what it ends up being. Tell you what, we're going to take our break. When we come back, we, of course, have a little bit of nightmare fuel for you. We're going to talk about flawless deepfakes you can't spot and manipulative robots that cheat you. In other words, it's a happy day. We got that coming up. We also have a couple of ghost stories for you today, including a ghost story about a Norwegian princess that claims the ghost of a Nazi general who shot himself in her bedroom tried to strangle her. I know there's a lot to unpack there, Jess. We'll get to it, though. I swear we will. I swear we will. We have a couple of Bigfoot stories, including probably the most unusual Bigfoot story of the year. I paused for a long time here in order to tell you that this man claims to have spoken to Bigfoot and says the conversation filled him with doom.
Oh, no.
You're going to have to hear it to believe it. And we're going to end today's show today, Jess, by saying I'm going to suggest a summer vacation for us. A most unusual summer vacation. It could be some people's idea of heaven. It could be some people's idea of hell. But it'll be interesting. And that's how we'll wrap up our show today. And that's Supernatural News for Wednesday. But when we come back, a little bit of nightmare fuel for you right here on Supernatural News and Parashare. It's a Wednesday right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Supernatural News and Parashare Wednesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Right over there is Jessica Freeburg. Jess, I gotta tell you, another great week. Even though I know we didn't, I gotta tell you, okay, it was a bad week. It was a bad week. Okay, on all fronts, okay, it was a bad weekend. Although I try to put a good spin on things, I really do. We lost like 3 people over the weekend. I mean, you lost Shelley Duvall, Shannon Doherty. I mean, we had some deaths over the weekend, right?
Yeah, sad.
Yeah. But with change and with death comes good things, right? I mean, we got to keep our chins up, right?
That's right.
That's right. With a dark day comes a brighter morning, right? We're all still here, right?
We get to wake up.
That's right. We get to. That's a little too happy there, Jess. But yeah, I mean, you know, life goes on. There's, you know, you get to wake up in the morning, kiss your kids. You get to a new day, new challenges, brighter scenarios. You're probably going to a job you enjoy. Hopefully. Notice I said hopefully. There's food out there you love to eat. There's activities you love to do. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. I got little chipmunks out there that love to eat their little peanuts. I know I bring up the chipmunks every time I can. I know they're just so cute. You got little doggies running around that bring you joy. I mean, there's lots of good stuff out there. And I mean, I'm just talking about things that just make you absolutely happy. And I just, what? Why, Jess? Why every time I talk about something that makes me happy, little AI music comes on?
Evil.
I know, evil, right? Just evil. And even as the music comes up, right now, something in Zoom is like, "Are you playing music?" No, it was AI. AI just came up. With that, while many are thrilled by the technology's potential to improve productivity and make lives easier, the risk is just as great as the reward when we're talking about artificial intelligence systems having as much capability for harm as they do good. That's right. What happens when an AI tool is designed for one purpose and finds another more sinister application? What happens when technology is used to deceive us, or even worse, when a computer itself tries to deceive us? Here's just a few breakthroughs with big implications, Jess. There's voice replication software out there, and oh yes, it's being used right now. Microsoft has developed an artificial intelligence tool that can mimic human speech with eerie accuracy. The tech giant says VALL-E2, VALL-2, is the first of its kind to achieve human parity, meaning equal or comparable quality to an actual voice. It is for this reason that Microsoft refuses to share the system with the public. Currently, we have no plans to incorporate VALL-E2 into a product or expand access to the public, the company wrote on its website. It may carry potential risks in the misuse of the model, such as spoofing voice identification or impersonating a specific speaker. Just this week, developer Deep Trust AI launched a tool aptly named Terrify, as in Tariff AI.
Ooh.
Yikes. After hearing just a minute of human speech, the tool can mimic a speaker's talking style and clone their voice. While Tariff AI is meant as a tongue-in-cheek social experiment, it is a cogent example of why voice phishing is so dangerous. This year alone, cybersecurity experts have noted an uptick in the use of AI tools by malicious actors, including those that replicate speech. And the extent of the issue goes beyond vishing or voice phishing, where scammers pose as relatives and friends on the phone. Voice cloning systems have even been used in a capacity that impact national security. In January, for instance, a robocall circulated using President Joe Biden's voice, urging Democrats not to vote in New Hampshire primaries. The man behind the plot was arrested and indicted on charges of voter suppression and impersonation of a candidate. When it comes to deepfakes, in the same vein as systems that replicate voices, deepfakes depict a person doing or saying something that they didn't do. But while Microsoft has big aspirations for Valley 2, saying the tool might find a place in education and accessibility features, deepfakes are intended to be deceptive. The term deepfake was coined in 2017 and originally used to describe photos manipulated by open source face swapping technology. Users on one Reddit forum would superimpose celebrity faces onto others' bodies to create exploitative pornography. And the emergence of dedicated AI tools has made deepfake creation all the more accessible. A rash of manipulated images on X, formerly Twitter, prompted the platform to temporarily ban searches for Taylor Swift's name in January. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security even noted the emergent threat of convincing deepfakes in a 2019 report, writing that it came not from the technology used to create it, but from people's natural inclination to believe what they see. As a result, the report continued, deepfakes and synthetic media do not need to be particularly advanced or believable in order to be effective in spreading or disinformation. Like voice replication software, deepfake technology has been used to influence politics. Shortly after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in March of 2022, a video began to circulate on social media. If depicted President Volodymyr Zelensky urging the military to lay down their weapons and surrender as any indication, Zelensky's office rejected its authenticity as soon as the video began to gain traction. While Facebook users didn't seem convinced, pointing out the pixelation around his face and inconsistent skin tone, the platform scrambled to take it down. Just a side note, as I hit my microphone, boom. Just a side note, this past weekend, and normally we don't bring up a lot of political situations here, but this past weekend with the attempted assassination on former President Trump, there was a video that was circulating online, and it actually brought up ex-President Reagan, who's been long dead, but it was a press conference from the Oval Office. And essentially, it was ex-President Reagan talking down the shooter, who had been deceased for hours. And basically, it was ex-President Reagan talking trash about the dead shooter. I don't know if you saw this video or not.
No.
It was posted on X, and it was reposted by many different users. And to say it was tasteless is pretty, I mean, it's not going out there on a limb.
Right.
But it was just basically, shaming the shooter. I mean, to say it was a despicable act is not going out there, right? But
right.
To bring up a dead president, make an AI deep fake, and have the deep fake shame the shooter is despicable in itself.
It's just so weird. Like, why? I don't even understand the way people think. Like, why do they do the things they do?
I don't know. That's ghoulish.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Psychologically, it's demented.
It's kind of scary how many people kind of seem to be.
Yeah, I mean...
And then we have all this technology that just emboldens them to do the weirdest, ickiest things.
Yeah, if you think that's a rallying cry or a rallying point, you're sick in the head too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Nathaniel Gleacher, who's Facebook's head of security policy, said the video had originated from a compromised website as far as the Volodymyr Zelensky video. We've reviewed and removed this video for violating our policy against misleading, manipulated media and notified our peers at other platforms, Gleacher wrote in a statement. News outlet Ukraine 24 later said hackers had embedded the video on their site. Regardless of how convincing it was, the video served as a first high-profile example of a deepfake being used in an armed conflict and has grim implications as technology continues to advance. Surely we've all heard the argument that AI possesses no higher thought or simply learns from information it's fed. Let's talk a little bit about deceptive AI. But some experts argue that technology can display some emergent behaviors. This includes learning how to lie. A paper published on May 10th in the journal Patterns found evidence that AI technologies can systematically acquire manipulation and deception skills. A team of researchers at Massachusetts Institute of Technology found that many systems are already capable of deceiving humans. They analyzed dozens of studies on how AI systems disseminate misinformation through a process known as learned deception. One example was Cicero, an AI system developed by Meta to play a war-themed strategic board game. Although Meta trained Cicero not to betray human players, the researchers deemed the system an expert liar. They discovered Cicero betrayed its comrades and performed acts of premeditated deception, such as forming pre-planned alliances that left players open to enemy attacks. The researchers also found evidence of learned deception in another of Meta AI system called Pluribus, a poker bot that can bluff players and convince them to fold. Rather than comment on the findings, a Meta spokesperson brushed them off as simply a research project. Meta regularly shares the results of our research to validate them and enable others to build responsibly off of our advances, the company said in a statement to media outlets. We have no plans to use this research or its leanings in our products or its learnings in our products, which I find that hard to believe as well. Talking about self-operating weapons, experts in AI and robotics have raised the alarm about the development of autonomous weapons, which select and engage targets without human intervention. The use of artificial intelligence has been deemed the third revolution in warfare following gunpowder and nuclear arms. And it's happening more rapidly than you think. Commercially available drones can use AI image recognition to locate and destroy targets. There's more advanced technology in the works as well, including AI-powered submarines and tanks. M-Subs, a British tech firm, secured a £15.4 million contract with the UK Royal Navy in 2022 to construct an autonomous submarine under the name Project Cetus. The completely crewless machine will be able to operate up to 3,000 miles from home for 3 months. Think about that. That's an autonomous, crewless submarine. 3,000 miles from home for 3 months.
Wild.
Isn't it? That's weird. A 2016 open letter with over 30,000 signatures from industry players laid out an argument against the use of AI-powered weapons. The key question for humanity today is whether to start a global AI arms race or to prevent it from starting, the letter read. If any major military power pushes ahead with AI weapon development, a global arms race is virtually inevitable. And the endpoint of this technological trajectory is obvious. One of the most pressing concerns is that AI-powered weapons may fall under the control of hackers, including those with political motivations. Those optimistic about the technology worry about the use of autonomous weapons, and it could tarnish the face of AI. In summary, we believe that AI has great potential to benefit humanity in many ways, and that the goal of the field should be to do so, the letter finished. Starting a military AI arms race is a bad idea and should be prevented by a ban on offensive autonomous weapons beyond meaningful human control. Interesting stuff. With that, Jess, comes this story. If you're going to make war on one hand, you got to make love on the other, right?
Yes, please.
All right. Well, if you're in Britain and you're a saucy Brit at that, you can be paid £50,000 a year to be a professional sex doll tester.
Oh my goodness.
Here's the deal. If you fancy earning a few extra quid, you could land a hefty sum to test out sex dolls. All you need is an interest in artificial intelligence and a cheeky attitude to meet the criteria for the role. Sex dolls are, of course, becoming mighty popular these days, and you could be paid over £50,000 to test them out. Doll Authority, a leading creator of innovative interactive sex dolls, is on the lookout for a sex doll product tester and AI trainer to test out the saucy creations from home. But at least you don't have to go into the job.
A nice work from home opportunity.
See? And people complain there aren't enough work from home activities and jobs out there that are easy to do and are pleasurable. Well, now you have one. The position is fully remote, that's what she said, with a salary of approximately £52,000. The lucky candidate will be responsible for testing Doll Authority's various sex dolls, enhancing their AI capabilities, sharing feedback, documenting test results, and refining the product's features. To be in with a chance of bagging the role, so to speak, if you need all you need is a strong attention to detail, excellent communication skills, a background in product testing, an interest in artificial intelligence, and an ability to handle sensitive content discreetly and professionally. Naturally, applicants must be comfortable with the nuances of adult-oriented products and be passionate about shaping the ever-evolving future of sex dolls. Yeah.
I want to see all the cover letters for this job.
I want to see the resumes. That's what I want to see.
Yes.
I want to see what exactly makes people think that they're qualified. By the way, Dr. Olivia Lee, who is Doll Authority's resident expert on the interplay between technology and intimate relationships, spoke exclusively to the Daily Star about the saucy new role and what it involves. According to the expert, the team are looking for someone to thoroughly evaluate their sex dolls to ensure they meet customers' needs. This includes assessing their physical features, durability, and the overall experience that each doll delivers. The successful candidate will also offer feedback on the doll's AI capabilities to try and improve their interactive aspects to make them more responsive and emotionally engaging for users. According to Doll Authority, real-world testing provides invaluable insights that help the company make the dolls the best that they can be. The role is also open to all genders, by the way, as long as they're 21 or over and they live in a place where sex dolls are legal. By the way, Jess, I have to ask you, this one would be more your speed. Take a gander at this one right here and tell me, would you be willing?
That's a doll?
Yeah, would you be willing to test that one out?
I mean, no, because it's just too weird. I'm not qualified for this job.
You're not
Sorry.
qualified? No?
No, I'm not comfortable
52
making love to dolls.
52 grand a year, Jess. Wouldn't be willing to go for a ride?
No.
No? Okay. You sure? I mean, he kind of looks...
He's got some nice abs, but they're not real. I don't know. It's just too creepy.
They're silicone. They're kind of firm. I mean, there's no flab.
Oh.
He's got an 8-pack, Jess. You can see his ribs.
No, it's not real. It's creepy. He's got an 8-pack and a wiener. It's just weird. Understand. Right when you were saying a dream.
He's got a what?
He's not saying it again.
He's got an 8-pack and a what?
And a wiener.
He had a 4th of July picnic going on, right? Is that what you said?
I don't know. It's just not okay.
It's got an 8-pack and a wiener. All right. On that note. Just so happens as I go to pick up the next story, an ad pops up that says we're hiring. Evidently they like your spunk, kid. 8-pack and a wiener.
Oh, Phoebe, plug your ears.
The poor puppy.
My dog's on my lap.
That poor puppy's like, what, Mom? 8-pack and a wiener? Are we having meat for dinner?
I love wieners.
Wieners? Is it dinner time already? Oh, God, don't let her near the doll. I'm just saying that.
No.
Oh, that's one type of testing you don't want. Just saying I'd give you one of those. Play fetch. No. Oh, no. It'd be horrible. Anywho, let's move on to the next story. You're going to find this next ghost story extremely interesting, Jess. A Norwegian princess claims the ghost of a Nazi general who shot himself in her bedroom tried to strangle her.
Right.
There's a lot going on here.
Yes.
Yeah. Princess Martha Louise claims the ghost of a Nazi SS general who shot himself in her childhood bedroom. I'm sure it wasn't while she was a child, but I mean, I don't think the two intersected. Would haunt her every night and at one point strangled her. Let's get into this because this is interesting. Princess Martha Louise, the daughter of Norway's King Harald, has claimed she was haunted by the ghost of a Nazi SS general who shot himself in her bedroom. The 52-year-old recalled the chilling moment she was throttled by the former soldier as she spoke on the Modern Royalty podcast. First of all, I can't believe that's a podcast, Modern Royalty, but I think I want to listen now.
I think so. People are digging it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Waffen SS General Wilhelm Redice had lived in the royal family's Skogum Castle during the German occupation of Norway during World War II. He committed suicide by a self-inflicted gunshot wound upon the collapse of the Third Reich in Norway on May 8th of 1945. Now 52-year-old Martha has said that she was regularly haunted by Redice for years as a teenager, as the former general used to appear to her in her bedroom every night and stare at her. This is where I'm going to take a small time out. Little sidebar here, Jess. You're a teenager, right around the same age as Princess Martha, Queen Martha, whatever she is.
Sure.
Royal Martha. You're a teenager and someone around your grandfather's age shows up in your bedroom, ghosts, every single day, and tries to strangle you in your most intimate moments. Is that a normal childhood for you? Are you just freaked out? Are you going
completely?
Are you going to your parents and like, it's time to move castles?
At least get a different bedroom. I mean, it's a castle. She should be able to pick a different room, right?
Right. Yeah. You would think that it's time to switch something. It's time to figure out something, right? Well, let's go forward and see how they tried to remedy this. She told the Modern Royalty podcast, when I moved into this room, I became terribly afraid of the dark, and there was a man staring at me. She continued, I told everyone, every night my nannies or my parents would look behind the curtains, pull them back and say, look, there's no one behind the curtains. There's no one here. Oh, look at the support group she had. Martha admitted she was not aware of the full horrific truth about her haunting until decades later when her father, now King Harold V, revealed the room's disturbing past. So wait, the king knew about this?
Why would he not believe her and why would he put her in that room in the first place? Again, it's a castle.
So he was like, darling, I want you to stay in this room. No big deal. You'll get over it. A Nazi killed himself in there. No big deal. He'll be fine. Just tell him the bullet didn't hurt that much. I don't know why I'm doing the German deal. She said that when she spoke about the paranormal experience with her father, he told her, "Oh, that's the rumor the Nazi general took his own life. No big deal. He's dead.
Oh my gosh.
He's a dead Nazi." Martha Louise told the podcast she thought, "It's only now that you're telling me this? Like, hello, Kingy. Maybe you want to put me in a different room?" Radice, who lived a life of luxury in Norway following the 1940 invasion, was Adolf Hitler's right-hand man in the country. He was in charge of the mass deportation of Jewish Norwegians to death camps where they were brutally killed. The soldier had climbed the ranks from SS Obergruppenführer, general of the police and higher SS and police leader, to a general of the Waffen SS in 1944. World War II expert Asbjørn Svarsted confirmed to local media that he was found dead on a sofa in what would later become the princess's bedroom when she was just 14 years old.
Oy.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Martha Louise, a self-proclaimed clairvoyant and fourth in line to the Norway's throne, had to step down from royal duties in 2022 due to her partner Durek Verrett's controversial views. Verrett, a former convict who claims to be a shaman, believes that sadness is the cause of child cancer.
Oh, wow. That's different.
That's a little bit of a step to the left, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
They're quite the pair. They're quite the couple.
Yeah, they are. Well, she's had a little bit of childhood trauma. But still, man, okay. I don't blame her for not wanting the throne, though. I mean, she's fourth in line, so it's not like, it's going to happen tomorrow. But
that's right. Yeah, that's a wild one.
But then, Daddy locked me up with a ghost for my entire childhood. And
yeah, that's kind of like child abuse. Like, you knew this horrible thing happened and she's telling you she's seen things. Like, you sleep in that room, Dad.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Hey, Kingy, why don't you go take a night or two in with the Nazi ghost and see what happens to you?
Yikes.
Fun stuff happening there in Norway. Norwegian royal family there. By the way, the Norwegian royal family sounds like a cruise ship I never want to be on. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. Our next story has to do with 13 ghosts that haunt a London attraction, including one that frightens visitors to death.
What?
We're talking about the Tower of London. Have you ever wanted to go to the Tower of London?
I would totally go. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always wanted.
Sure.
I've always wanted to go. With its bloody history, it's perhaps unsurprising that the Tower of London is thought to be one of the most haunted buildings in the UK, having been the site of many an imprisonment and execution. The tower is thought to now be haunted by at least 13 ghosts, including some rather famous individuals. Among the ghosts is one King of England, Henry VI, who died in the Tower of London in 1471. Some say he died of a broken heart after learning of the death of his son Edward of Westminster, while others say he was murdered on orders of King Edward IV, who twice usurped his throne. Henry's ghost reportedly haunts the Wakefield Tower, where he appears at the stroke of midnight. Other royal ghosts to haunt the tower are Edward V and his brother Prince Richard, known to history as the Princes in the Tower, who disappeared in 1483, likely having been killed at the order of their uncle, King Richard III. The spirits of some of the individuals executed at Tower Green are said to still reside at their place of death, with visitors and those working at the tower reporting to have seen the ghosts of Anne Boleyn, Margaret Pole, and Lady Jane Grey. In 1876, one soldier stationed at the tower claimed to have seen a ghostly procession of knights and ladies led by a headless woman who he believed to be Anne Boleyn. The ghosts of other figures imprisoned and or tortured at the tower have also been seen, including Sir Walter Raleigh, who spent over 13 years in the Bloody Tower, and Arbella Stewart, who starved after being imprisoned for marrying without the crown's consent. Some visitors have claimed to hear the screams of Guy Fawkes, who was likely tortured within the tower walls. These have been heard from the council chamber in the White Tower, where he was prepared for his brutal execution, in which he was hanged, drawn, and quartered. And it's not just human figures who are said to haunt the tower grounds, with a ghostly bear having been reported by yeoman warders, who tell a chilling tale of this apparition frightening visitors to death. Another rather scary figure is the Nameless Thing, or the violent entity, who reportedly haunts the tower's guards. Guards have claimed they felt a terrible crushing sensation in the room where King Henry VIII's suit of armor is located, while one guard patrolling the grounds reported feeling sensation of having a cloak thrown over him, which was then pulled tightly around his neck, seemingly in an attempt to strangle him. Scary stuff going on there at the Tower of London, that's for sure. But boy, would I love to go.
I know, let's go.
All right. We'll do that. And then later on in the summer, we're going to this place at the end of the show.
Okay.
In Singapore.
Ooh, we are international travel.
Yep, international travel. I hope your passport's up to date. I know mine is.
Mine is not, but I will work on it since we have destinations.
Yep, you have to, because we have destinations. Destinations of travel abound. That's for sure there, lady. So, there you go. One more ghost destination here to talk about. And then we will talk about some Bigfoot stories. Oh, by the way, I have a couple of stories here that are just bizarre. A woman is scratched by a ghost during a tour of a haunted asylum. We're going to, I believe is this Michigan we're going to? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. No, we're going to Australia. A visitor to one of Australia's most haunted attractions recently got more than she bargained for. Airedale Mental Hospital, which is situated in Ararat, southwest Victoria, is considered to be one of the most haunted places in Australia, making it a popular destination for paranormal enthusiasts. Constructed during the 1860s, the building housed thousands of patients over the years until it was eventually closed down and converted into a campus on the Melbourne Polytechnic in 2001. Today, the building is often visited by paranormal investigators, and there are also paranormal tours offering visitors a chance of potentially experiencing something strange within its 19th century walls. Most recently, a woman who had been on a 3-hour tour, no, not of Gilligan's Island, but of the former asylum, reported that she had discovered mysterious scratch marks on her back and that she didn't believe that they had been there beforehand. The marks had appeared during a tour of the staff quarters and then got worse as time went on. I actually felt like I had a prickle or something in my shirt. My partner had a look and said that there were scratches, she wrote, when describing the sensation as weird. I laughed because I thought he was trying to scare me, and then he showed me the photo. After sharing her story on social media, several other people came forward to report similar accounts of being scratched by unseen forces inside the building. Others, meanwhile, maintained that her wounds were either self-inflicted or the result of some type of allergic reaction or flare-up. As things stand, however, no definitive explanation for her injuries has been forthcoming, which wouldn't be the first time I've ever heard of something like that happening, even at a haunted asylum where somebody feels like that maybe they felt like a little tickle or something like that, and then they pull up their shirt and they have these deep red scratches in their skin. And then it just burns. I've heard of that
before too.
Yeah. And it just burns after that. and it burns bad. Like the next day, it's like one of the worst burning sensations you've ever had.
I feel like that's not a good sign of what you were engaging with, if that's what you come away with.
Right. Yeah. It's a bad, evil sensation. That's for sure. Ugh. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. This next story that I want to tell you about is a bizarre one at that. And then we'll get to our Bigfoot and Loch Ness stories. 5 fishermen die after drinking contents of a mysterious bottle or bottles found at sea. The men had consumed the unidentified contents of some bottles found floating off the coast of Sri Lanka. According to reports, the fishermen, who had been part of a crew of 6 that had set sail from, I believe this is Tangali Fisheries Harbor back at the start of June on a trip spanning several days, came across a number of mysterious bottles in the sea around 320 nautical miles off the coast of Sri Lanka. For reasons known only to themselves, the men not only started to drink the unidentified contents of the bottles, but had even distributed some of them to other fishing boats in the area as well. Before long, several of the men had become extremely ill, and 4 of them died very quickly. A 5th later succumbed to the same fate a few days later. The 6th and only remaining crew member was evacuated to a hospital and survived. It remains unclear what actually was in those bottles or why the men would drink the contents, which is strange to even think. Here's a strange bottle, let's pop it open and drink it.
A terrible idea. It's crazy.
Yeah. But efforts are now underway to warn other crews not to ingest whatever is contained inside them. It's possible that the crew believed the bottles contained alcohol that was still good to drink. Even if you ran across alcohol that was hundreds of years old, even 100 years old, why would you pop it open and drink it without testing it?
I would certainly not.
I think it was a couple weeks ago we had the story about the wine that was found that contained ashes.
Yes.
I don't know that I'd drink that right away or even at all.
If it doesn't have a label on it and it clearly indicates what's inside, how many calories I'm consuming, I don't want to drink it.
Yeah. Whatever the case, it goes without saying that drinking the contents of random bottles, if you happen to find them floating in the ocean or elsewhere, is never a good idea. Like Jess said.
I feel like that goes without saying.
Right. Like Jess said, if it's not labeled as to what's in there, leave it alone. Oh.
Could be a bottle of whiz for all you know. Like somebody could have really had to go and they used their bottles and tossed them in like my brothers used to do on road trips.
That's right. That's right. It could be road whiz. Road whiz with liver disease.
Oh, and nasty.
You're taking a big swig. Blah. So last week, Jess, we had a story about 2 teenagers who are just fresh out of high school that had to be rescued by the Forest Service after a run-in with baby Bigfoot.
Yes, terrifying baby Bigfoot.
Yes, terrifying 5-foot baby Bigfoot, right? Well, this week we have another story about another baby Bigfoot. This one is a bizarre image of an alleged baby Bigfoot, which is stirring up the debate and the controversy. And here is the picture of baby Bigfoot.
Oh, well, by God, it really does look like a baby Bigfoot.
Doesn't it?
And look, there's a deer looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, buddy.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this picture as well in the description of the program so you guys can get a picture or a look at the picture of baby Bigfoot, and you can see what you think about baby Bigfoot as well, and whether this is a truly legit picture of baby Bigfoot. Here's the story. This highly questionable photograph of an alleged juvenile baby Bigfoot has been met with considerable skepticism, and here's why. Sometimes a photograph comes along that, despite being quite clear, seems so patently ridiculous and unlikely to be real that it is very difficult to actually take it seriously. The image, which was reportedly captured by Bigfoot spotter Stephanie Wood, somewhere in North America is one such example. While the subject of the photograph is certainly easy enough to make out, there's no way or getting away from the fact that the supposed Bigfoot looks a lot like a child in a costume. Here's the quote. "We know what you're thinking. It's Chaka from the Land of the Lost," Wood wrote on Facebook. "Our gut reaction to this photo is that it's probably a short person in a costume, maybe a kid, right? But after analyzing it for a while, we're not so sure anymore. Could this be a baby Sasquatch or one of those little hairy people that pop up in reports every now and then, which are described as squatchlets? One thing we know for sure is that the truth is truly stranger than fiction in more cases than not. Chaka or a squatchlet? You decide." Unsurprisingly, the image, which has since been picked up by various news outlets, has been met with a considerable degree of skepticism, which most users are dismissing it as a hoax. It's not even particularly clear that the image was exactly captured recently. So we'll post it in the description of this program. We'll let you decide. Baby Squatch, Squatchlet, hoax. I don't know, Jess. What do you think when you look at it?
Squatchlet. It's just fun to say. And it's adorable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. It almost looks like a costume, but I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. I'm not going to ruin anybody's fun.
It could be a costume, but I'm still going with it.
Squatchlet? All right.
I want to believe.
All right, then you believe. You believe. Well, let's see if we believe this guy's story. Our next story has to do with a man who claims to have spoken to Bigfoot and says the conversation filled him with doom.
That's not good.
What kind of a downer Bigfoot that needs antidepressants do you run into that's out there like, man, the entire planet's just full of shit, dude?
An honest one?
Yeah, an honest one that's just seen the world, right? Yeah. Okie dokie, Bigfoot doubters. You can deny all the grainy, unclear footage you like, but you can't deny someone who says he spoke to the creature itself. So here we go. Even the supposed best footage ever recorded of Bigfoot is still a pretty damn tenuous link to the legendary creature, but most of the time, it's all we got. Every now and then, people spot what could be the big guy himself, but then the magnificent mystery is burst like the most fragile of bubbles when someone points out that's definitely not him. Bigfoot's not an American phenomenon either, not just an American phenomenon, as there's been sightings of him and his ilk over in the UK as well. Perhaps he'd come for a chat with the Loch Ness Monster. Anywho, this time there's a man who says he's not only seen Bigfoot, but he's also spoke to him. But their conversation was a rather grim one. According to KHMO Radio, a man from Missouri, of course it's in Missouri, called into his local radio station and recounted an encounter that he had with Bigfoot right outside his home. It would have been nice if the guy had taken some sort of video for more definitive proof, but the following conversation already scared him plenty enough. He said, "I said, we don't have to be scared of each other and that we could live in peace. I told him I didn't want to hurt him and I didn't want him to hurt me. He hit me with the infrasound and it hit me hard. It made me physically shudder. And I don't know if there's a telepathic component to it or not, but what I felt is you could feel it go through your body. You didn't hear nothing, but it was like anger, fear, hatred, and doom all rolled into one directly at you. There you go, gang. Irrefutable proof that Bigfoot not only exists, but that he also doesn't speak English. This must surely be an authentic Bigfoot encounter because, of course, as far as we know, he's never been through the education system and thus would have struggled to pick up our language. Also, this new development reveals that Bigfoot is possibly telepathic and can evoke a powerful sense of dread within the people that he communicates with. Perhaps that's the reason why Bigfoot is such a recluse. He knows the feelings he stirs within human hearts and wishes to spare us the melancholy. There you go. So what do you think, Jess? Did this guy have a genuine telepathic link with Bigfoot?
I will never deny someone's personal experience. But that is not my Bigfoot. My Bigfoot is nice. He's my buddy. He only makes me feel happy.
So you're more dropping shrooms with Bigfoot in the middle of the forest type.
Exactly.
Okay.
Smoking the peace pipe.
Now, I'll tell you this. The last couple of people I've had on the show dealing with Bigfoot have described something similar to this.
I know. I hear a lot of people talking about the fear and the
dread.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't put it past this guy. I think he had a genuine experience.
I think he did too.
Yeah. Interesting that it was that intense, which tells me that he was probably closer to one of their settlements where there's probably younger children, younger Bigfoot around.
Yeah. And they're trying to protect them.
Yep. They wanted him out of there. That's what I think.
Which is a peaceful way to go about it, honestly. Like, he could squash us. I mean, Bigfoot could, tear us apart.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, he's just scaring us with his thoughts.
True. Very true. But at the same time, in that situation, if you think if that telepathic exchange a one-way deal where Bigfoot's just putting it out there like a warning signal, like, get the hell out of here, dude, or you're in big time trouble? Or is it a two-way street where you could say, hey, you know what, dude, I don't mean any harm. I'm just here to say, hey, I'm just here to, I'm just walking along and we're just two ships passing in the night and I don't mean any harm. And if you truly are who you say you are and I truly am who I am, why can't we just meet? Why can't I say, hey, and why can't you be friendly and I'll be friendly? And why can't...
I would say Bigfoot has a reason to be fearful of us, though, because, I mean, this is what we do. We find things, we want to kill them. We want to capture that Bigfoot body. We want to be the one to bring in the Bigfoot. And the only way you're going to bring in a Bigfoot is if you kill it.
True, but not everybody wants to kill Bigfoot. Some people just want to have that experience, and just say that they.
Yeah, I get it, but I think that like there's enough of us out there that have gone out with guns and Bigfoot hunting, so to speak. Like that one episode we had where someone called the police to ask if they could, if they needed a license.
Yeah, to hunt it.
to hunt the Bigfoot, right?
Right. Yeah,
that's how we think. Not all of us, but enough of us that I would be afraid of us.
I would be too. Yeah, exactly. Well, we go from one cryptid to another here, Jess. We're talking about Loch Ness Monster. And researchers from the University of Bath and the University of Portsmouth have found a staggering clue. They say that the Loch Ness Monster's existence is plausible following an incredible new discovery. That new discovery has proved the existence of the Loch Ness Monster. The recent revelation made in the Sahara Desert, I know that's a long ways away from the Loch, makes Old Nessie, the mythical Scottish creature, entirely plausible. That's according to them. Researchers from the University of Bath and University of Portsmouth in the UK and Université Hassan II in Morocco made a shocking discovery of fossils of a plesiosaur in the Sahara Desert. That according to Newsweek.com. Sahara was part of a freshwater river system 100 million years ago. Plesiosaurs is what the Loch Ness Monster is widely believed to be, as they have largely been considered to be sea creatures. Loch Ness in Scotland is a freshwater body of water, but a saltwater creature can't survive in freshwater. As a result, scientists have previously dismissed the possibility of a sea creature living in a body of freshwater. Now, according to these findings, there's potential that such a creature would have inhabited freshwater lochs such as Loch Ness. Scientists can't rule out the fact that these creatures may have been permanent freshwater residents. They suspect that these ancient creatures possibly lived in freshwater, having found the same food chipping their teeth on the armored fish that lived in the river. This suggests they feasted on freshwater prey. It comes after Nessie attacks were listed among the most peculiar insurance policies ever issued. In 2005, a group of swimmers secured a 1 million pound policy against the bites from the monster. Then in 2013, a cruise company took out a policy to safeguard their vessels from up to 1.5 million pounds. I'm sorry, $1.5 million and 1.2 million pounds in damages potentially inflicted by the mythical beast. Interesting stuff, that's for sure. So, Nessie may be real.
Nessie's totally real.
Nessie's totally real. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So long as you believed it before scientists prove it, I'll give you a pass.
I love that you can get insurance policies for it, so I've never heard of such a thing.
Oh, you can get insurance policies for anything.
That's wild.
Lloyd's of London, as long as you have the cash, they will insure anything. I'm trying to remember what was it that I know both the lead singers of Led Zeppelin and David Lee Roth of Van Halen have had something insured by Lloyd's of London. It's something ridiculous too. I don't remember what it is. I have to look it up. But yeah, there's if you look up some of the most ridiculous things Lloyd's of London have it's bizarre. I'll have to look it up one day for Supernatural News, but they've insured some crazy things. So we have another Loch Ness story here, Jess. This time it's actually Nessie caught on camera, or was it? It was a minibus-sized object spotted prowling through the water. So yeah, it's a bigger object. It's estimated the creature was caught on camera and it was between 16 to 18 feet in length, which is roughly the size of a 12-seater Ford Transit minibus. That's according to the Mirror. An immense creature as big as a minibus was seen prowling through Loch Ness in an incredible potential sighting of the mythical monster. Ian O'Fadigan said his heart jumped when he saw the 18-foot presence while watching the water over webcam. By the way, Ian O'Fadigan hasn't been on site at Loch Ness in years. Just saying, he watches by webcam all the time. He added, I noticed two dark shapes moving in sequence with each other about 100 yards out into Loch Ness. My heart jumped and I was astonished at the length of what was coming into view. That's what she said. I thought this is truly an interesting and intriguing sighting and visually clear. She said. He estimates that the creature caught on camera was between 16 and 18 feet in length. That's roughly the size of a 12-seater Ford Transit minibus. There are no known creatures in Loch Ness that are as large as 16 to 18 feet, said Ian, who's 59 years old now. I'm not given the impression it's a fish species. And I imagine an eel, even a giant one, would be more flexible and wriggly. But this creature is more rigidly moving. That is why I think there's a lot more body underneath supporting it. He added, it could be Nessie, ruling out all other known creatures because of its size. In the footage, two shapes, one smaller, one larger, are seen slowly moving north as the camera opens left to right and back again. Mr. O'Fadigan, a veteran Nessie hunter, thinks they're both part of the same huge animal. He said, I think the smaller shape is attached to the larger slender shape because they maintain the same distance between them throughout the video. The only way this is possible is both shapes belong to one living creature. I presume the front object is the head of the creature and is possibly searching for fish close to the surface, as well as helping keep an eye on everything above the water. It seems to be watching all around. You may say it's slightly anxious. I mean, that's cool if it is the same object. The creature's head looked like a round football, and even the swallows were flying all around it, doing their investigation, said Ian O'Fadigan. The footage taken on July 9th was captured during a webcam at the Klansman Hotel, visited visit Inverness Loch Ness, Ian often logs on to watch the water from his home in County Donegal, Ireland. Over the years, he's racked up multiple entries in the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register, but new restrictions concerning webcam sightings have kept his recent contributions off the record. So they've limited him just a little bit because of the restrictions. So to give you an idea of, and I'll just give you a quick idea here, Jess, because like I said, they've limited him because of restrictions, but essentially this is what he saw, even though, see here, can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So even though on the photo, you can't tell the distance at which he's looking, at 16 to 18 feet, that's still pretty impressive.
Yeah. And if that's one creature, that's a huge creature with the distance between that.
Yeah, that still is a pretty big span. And I mean, that's pretty cool. That's not impressive for you and I. I mean, looking at it on a, 10-inch iPad screen, that's not, it's like, oh yeah, that's only like 5 inches long. That's what she said. But I mean, but I mean, to them in the loch, looking at something like that, that's that big. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I would be really impressed. I'd be excited.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is for sure. Okay, so just a few stories left here on Supernatural News. So we've covered Bigfoot. We've covered Nessie. We have one more cryptid here to cover, and that has to do with a lesser-known cryptid. This cryptid is known as the Lake Worth Monster. We're going to Fort Worth, Texas. All right.
All right.
Now, before you get really excited about the Lake Worth Monster, I think he just sounds like Sasquatch. I don't know. We'll find out here. I mean, yeah. So it says here, you can't keep a good monster down. In July of 1969, when the rest of the world was marveling at the moon landing, Fort Worth was fascinated with their own Bigfoot, described as a furry, scaly goat man creature that attacked cars and terrorized teenagers near its boggy northwest Fort Worth home. On July 10th of 1969, only 10 days before humankind set foot on the moon, we were frightened by the Lake Worth Monster. Then he vanished forever into urban legend, which makes you think maybe he just died. I don't mean to get like graphic or kind of, doom and gloom on the deal, but sometimes those creatures just die. It's nature. Yeah. He wasn't new. In 1947, a lake serpent had bobbed up nearby, says the article. But the 1969 monster was more of a furry Sasquatch or Yeti. A gawking motorist even photographed him that fall with a Polaroid camera on Shoreline Road near Greer Island. In recent years, his legend is only growing through reality TV's fascination with the paranormal. But as his fame grew, another clue to his 1969 origin turned up. Star Telegram archives show that in December of 1968, only months before the monster marauded along Shoreline Road, front page columnist George Dolan wrote a joking column retelling the story of that earlier 1947 sighting. A man who used to run a boat works on Lake Worth mentioned the other day that he can understand people thinking that they see flying saucers, Dolan wrote, referring to the UFO sightings of that paranoid Cold War weary era. Remember the Lake Worth monster? He went on to say that earlier one was definitely a prank. In 1947, workers at the boat works rigged an inner tube with a pulley and trot line to make it bob up and down in the water, Dolan wrote. The excitement went on for days, Dolan wrote, before the joke was revealed. But people still believed it was real. Some of them, Dolan wrote, might still think that the monster is in Lake Worth. It was only months later, at the height of the UFO sightings and otherwise slow summer news days, when police officer James S. McGee was dispatched to take Fort Worth resident John Reichert's account of a goat man who scratched his car fender and was grabbing at his wife. A Sampson Park man, Jack Harris, said he saw it throw a tire 500 feet. Yikes.
Dang.
That's a big goat, man.
Quite the shot put.
Right. Weeks later, Charles Buchanan said he threw a bag of chicken to ward off a gorilla-like creature. Now the stories are getting big, right? The only record we have is a blurry November 19th, 1969 Polaroid of a giant white furball like a monster labradoodle. Okay, Monster Labradoodle. That's a great punk band name. Just saying. Monster Labradoodle. Let's see. Where's the rest of the story here? Are they going to cut me off? No, here we go. Alan Plaster of Fort Worth, then 22, owner of the House of Allen Women's Wear Shop. I don't know if you had to go get your underwear at the House of Allen Women's Wear Shop. Would that be an option? No?
It sounds like all they sell is granny panties, though.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
The big ones.
The slingshot panties. That's the place where you get those.
Parachutes.
Yep, the parachute panties. He said he was driving west on Shoreline Road with two Weatherford friends at 1:35 a.m. when they saw the fur monster stand up on the south side of the road. Sounds like the fur monster probably shops at the House of Allen Women's Wear Shop. That's what I'm saying. Right? In a 2006 interview, he said he considered the sighting a prank, adding, whatever it was, it wanted to be seen. Plaster, 1947 to 2019, was a Grafford native. At the time of the monster's rampage, he owned a chain of fashion boutiques. He went on to own a pet store, Allen's Ark, and managed local hotels, started a furniture manufacturer, and worked as a bail bond agent. Talk about a jack of all trades and master of none, right?
Really? What a life.
Yeah. In 2006, he said the idea of a real monster is silly. When we drove by, it stood up, he said. Whatever it was, it wanted to be seen. That was a prank. That was somebody out there waiting for people to drive by. I don't think an animal would have acted that way. He gave his Polaroid instant print to Sally Ann Clark of Benbrook, who said she had seen a goatfish man. Her homespun book, The Lake Worth Monster of Greer Island, Fort Worth, Texas, now sells for almost $150 on eBay.
Ooh.
We need to make a book, Jess. There's good.
Oh, that's like all I do. All I do is make books, Tim.
I'll go get in a costume somewhere in the middle of the wilds out there in your neighborhood and just shoot a picture of me. We'll make a book.
Okay, I'm in.
It says here there's good money now in monsters. So evidently there's an urban legend out in Fort Worth. They make a book.
Yeah. I suppose because it's older and it's not published anymore. So now it's just, it's so expensive because there's only so many, supply and demand.
$150 for the Fort Worth monster.
I don't even think you need a costume. You said you're quite hairy.
I am quite hairy. Yeah. I just need, I need a longer wig for my head, and I'll grow my beard out and I'll just get out there.
I've got some fake hair up in a bag we can glue on.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. I'll do kind of a funky walk out there and
just lumber around a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll get my phone, I'll get my camera, and I'll just shake it while I take the picture so it's, properly blurry.
There you go. I could be you can call me the Farmington Funkadactyl. That's what I'll be. And yeah, I'll put some wings on me so I can look.
Oh yes, please. Because my favorite monster from my Monsters of the Pacific Northeast is the Bat Squatch. Because I've never heard of a flying Bigfoot.
No,
this is like we can create our own local Minnesota flying Bigfoot.
Put me out in the middle of the woods in Farmington. Call me the Farmington Funkadactyl.
I have fairy wings we could use. Do you want to be a pretty princess? monster?
A pretty hairy princess?
A little bit scary, a little bit.
A little bit scary and a little bit hairy. The fairy funkadactyl. The Farmington fairy funkadactyl.
I feel like we're coming up with so many great plans lately. I don't know what's happening, but this creative connection we've got going right now, Tim, gold mine.
Just think of the merchandising. I mean,
Yeah.
Man, toys, video games. We're going to be rich.
Plush toys are going to be great.
Oh, plush toys.
The sex dolls, even better.
The AI sex dolls. You can grab the fairy by the wings. I mean, it's just.
Oh, I couldn't resist. Sorry.
My God. 2 more stories, Jess, and we're out of here. Just saying.
All right.
Today's show.
Power on.
Coming up, I want you guys to go to the shop at darknessradioshow.com to get your own fairy funkadactyl sex doll. So
It looks oddly like Tim.
And it has its own voice chip. It goes, "Hey, watch where you're grabbing." Yeah, depending on where you grab. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's kind of a neat little doll. Just saying. Anywho, a weird mishap sees an SUV drive into a hot acidic lake in Yellowstone, Jess.
Oh, no.
This is the vacation we don't want.
No, I'm going on a road trip with my girls, too. And we're going to not let this happen.
Yeah, this is what you don't want it to happen on the road trip. 5 people had reportedly been in the vehicle at the time that it had inexplicably driven into the water. Tourists can now do some strange things in this latest mishap, which happened at the iconic national park last week. By the way, we're all going to get buried under Yellowstone lava anyways, any day now. I mean, there's supposed to be this gigantic volcanic eruption that's going to happen any day. So this has been happening for years, but it's going to happen any day. So just don't go to Yellowstone anyways. But the volcanic lake is just it's like dessert next to the main course of being, a Pompeii. Pompeii Part 2 is basically what Yellowstone is. Right. Okay. Now that I've had my rant. Tourists can do some strange things. And this latest mishap, which happened at the iconic national park last week, is a perfect example of what not to do when visiting the area. According to reports, 5 visitors ended up in hot water, quite literally, when they drove their SUV into the Semi-Centennial Geyser, which is an acidic body of water situated near the park's roaring mountain. When the geyser itself has been inactive for over 100 years, the water is not particularly inviting, and falling in would be the equivalent of taking a bath in hot vinegar.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know. Ow. That doesn't sound appealing at all. The vehicle ended up fully submerged, but all 5 occupants managed to make it to safety. They were later taken by ambulance to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The road around the location of the accident was cordoned off and an investigation carried out. It still remains unclear how the SUV ended up in the lake. Yeah, hot vinegar bath. By the way, not something Massengill offers at the local pharmacy. Don't ask for it, and it is not therapeutic. So don't go to Yellowstone and ask for that by name. The rangers will just look at you strangely and cross-eyed. So yeah, it's not being offered.
Not recommended.
No, and it sounds like hell on earth. Speaking of hell on earth, we get to our vacation this summer, Jess. Once we're done with the Tower of London, we get to our second part of our vacation, which goes to Singapore. Now, by the way, Singapore has a very interesting little side trip that you can take when you're there. Of course, Singapore has very lovely areas that you can go to, but Singapore also has a hell theme park.
What?
Yes. A hell theme park.
No, thank you.
No?
I don't know. Let's hear about it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll change my mind.
All right. Well, Singapore's Hell theme park features Chinese folklore, and it's dead serious about the afterlife. Hell's Museum in Singapore showcases Asian culture, faiths, and philosophy, and exhibits various religious views on the afterlife. Let me just show you a little picture here, Jess, about one of the first things you see when you walk into the park.
Oh, wow.
That's something?
That's terrifying. Yeah.
Isn't it a little bit?
A little bit. But you know what? I'm intrigued. I changed my mind. Let's go.
There's no Dole Whips when you first walk in. It's not exactly Disneyland, but it could be fun.
It could be fun. We're
read.
going to get educated. We're going to learn a lot.
That's right. The giant Buddhist skeleton alarms me a little. Not gonna lie.
At least he's meditating. He looks very zen. Just
he's smiling like the Joker, but he's. So here's the deal. Let's describe it a little bit. Here's the description: gory grottos with demons impaling sinners on stakes, and people drowning in a pool of blood are not part of your average theme park experience. It is if you go to Valley Fair in Minneapolis. Just saying. By the way, they got bought by Six Flags. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Last week they got bit.
Is that going to make them better?
Let's hope, because that old wooden roller coaster ain't going to stay up for long in these floods. I'm just saying. So hopefully they'll rebuild that deal. But we go to Hell's Museum in Singapore, the main attraction at the Haw Par Villa Park. Visitors are welcome to a kitschy, air-conditioned hell on earth. I kind of like air conditioning in Singapore. I'm not going to lie.
I like air conditioning hell.
Yeah, air conditioned hell. There's not air conditioned in hell. That's an oxymoron to me. Air conditioned. I'll take that all day long.
Like, it's not so bad down here.
No, I like it. I kind of like it. Actually, if you turn it all the way up, that's heaven. Just saying. Inside the sprawling park complex with more than 1,000 statues and dioramas showcasing Asian culture, faiths, and philosophy, Hell's Museum exhibits various religious views on the afterlife. Visitors are encouraged to learn about the 10 courts of hell through intense depictions of punishments for earthly sins. At court number 2, Jess, for instance, corruption gets you frozen in ice, while rapists at court 7 are thrown in boiling oil.
Ooh, ouch.
I hope that's more than an hourly thing. I hope it's a 15-minute thing, because I kind of like to have my rapists freshly boiled. So kind of hoping I get to see the turnover on that deal.
Yeah, take them out, dip them back in.
Yeah, kind of like French fries. You know what I'm saying? The 10 courts of hell are the result of the mixing of 4 different religions and philosophies: Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, and Confucianism. You ever walk around Confucianism? Just
every day.
Yeah. That, according to Eisen Teo, who is the chief curator of Hell's Museum in the multicultural city-state. The quote here from Jen Goldberg, by the way, who's an American tourist. He says, "One person's heaven would be another person's hell." Aw. Aw. Aw.
Sure.
Yeah. The sculptures and dioramas are a visual dissection of many classics, stories, and moral values that many Singaporeans have and are familiar with, Teo said. Visitor Jen Goldberg said she wasn't so surprised to learn that many religions had differing opinions on the afterlife. One person's heaven would be another person's hell, said the American. The odd park stands apart from gleaming Singapore's mainstream tourist attractions, such as the luxury shops of Marina Bay Sands or the towering super trees of Gardens by the Bay. Haw Par Villa was built in 1937 by entrepreneur Ah Boon Ha, known for co-developing Asia's much-loved Tiger Balm pain relief rub. So now you know when you buy all that Tiger Balm, where the money's going. It's going straight to hell. Just saying. Well, fondly remembered by older generations, the park has had trouble attracting the Gen Z crowd and younger millennials, according to Journeys, the firm that manages the park. To broaden appeal, it has several rave parties and other private events, but not too near the religious exhibits. So we can go to a rave, Jess.
We can go to a rave in hell.
That's right. After they came here for the parties, they fell in love with the quirky, eccentric park with these cool sculptures. They fell in love with them, and they keep doing repeat visits, said Savita Kashyap, who is Journey's executive director. Well, Ha Par Villa isn't just about the afterlife and raves. It also displays scenes from Chinese folklore, such as Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Its hellish attraction remains the top draw, but not for Hall. One visitor from the Philippines said while leaving that she won't be returning anytime soon. It's very scary, she said. So there you go. I figure that's a good summertime vacation for us, huh?
I think we could have a lot of fun.
Raves and tiger balm and hell.
Boiling rapists and oil.
Yeah.
Oh, and
boiling rapists and oil?
Yeah, let's do it.
A Joker Buddhist? I think it sounds fun.
I love it.
It's kitschy.
You changed my mind.
See?
Singapore, here we come.
Singapore, here we come. After a small stop at the Tower in London. I think it sounds wonderful.
We have big plans.
Not only that, but maybe we could get some of this dim sum. Look at that dim sum that's there. See?
Oh, I want.
See?
I'm hungry.
See, a little dim sum, and then we'll go to hell. Look at that. I mean,
No. Delicious. Delicious in hell.
Delicious in hell. A little dim sum, a little boiling rapist in oil. It's all the same.
We don't have to eat them, do we?
No. You don't have to eat
on the menu.
You might want to try a little bit because, when in Rome, but, maybe just a bite.
Just a nibble.
Yeah, just a nibble. You don't want to offend your hosts. So, yeah. So with that, Jess, we have a little bit of a bargain to tell our listeners about as far as the Palmer House is coming up here in the winter.
Yeah, I'm excited to offer you guys a discount because I love you and I would love to see you there. The Palmer House is so fun. If you've never been, and if you've been, you can go back 100 times and it's still super fun. So we have an event in November. It's on ghoststories.inc, my group's website, and it'll also be on my website that you can find the event. And if you use the code darkness20, all capital letters, darkness20, you're going to get 20% off your ticket.
There you go. The Palmer House, always a good time, always delivers when it comes to paranormal investigating. And for those of you who have had the experience, it's kind of like a smaller Stanley Hotel, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
It's fabulous. You know what? You should come to this one because we're going to do the 20s theme party. It would be so fun.
And that's on what date? Is that the November?
Is it the second weekend in November? Yeah.
Yeah, second weekend in November.
I think so.
I think I may.
And we have a live jazz band, and I have a flapper suit I'm going to wear.
Really?
I'm going to dance. Yeah, do it.
I think I may.
Get your Zoop suit. Do you have a Zoop suit at home?
I'm trying to remember if I do or not. If I don't, I think I may get one.
You need to get one.
Yeah.
Yes, come party with Tim and I.
There you go. Second week in November. I think I may, Jess. That sounds like a good time. Yeah, second week in November.
Yeah, November 15th.
November 15th. I think I may.
It starts on the 14th because we offer like a sip and paint on the 14th. If you do the VIP tickets, you get the sip and paint.
Yeah.
So then you'll do a painting with us. And then Friday night is the party, the dance party on the 15th. And then the 16th is all like art workshops and writing workshops. And then there'll be like a history workshop on inksters. So
that's a beautiful.
And then paranormal investigation. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Of course.
We do ghost hunt.
Yeah. That's a beautiful time of year to be there too. November.
Oh, I love it.
It's cool up there. The leaves are falling. Oh my gosh. Talk about a gorgeous time of year to be up there at the Palmer. Man. You folks have to take advantage of it. Again, we'll have the link in the description of this program to Ghost Stories Inc. So you can go get that code Darkness20. You could save 20% to be up there at the Palmer. Folks, you got to join us up there. It's going to be a wonderful time. So I'm telling you. So yeah, And we're going to sell the thing out. You people won't be able to get tickets in a couple of weeks. I'm telling you, it's all going to be gone. It's going to be gone. You're not even going to be able to come up and party with us. You got to get it. It's going to be the event of the fall. So you're going to have to get your tickets now. Yeah. So you're going to have to get it now. So take advantage of that right now. The link will be in the description of this program. Let's see. Coming up tomorrow on the big show, I'm going to leave it a surprise. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it a surprise. You know, you people have been spoiled for quite a few weeks. I think we've been spoiling you with letting you know who's going to be on this show. I think I'm going to leave it a surprise. I'm just saying, I don't know. I got nothing.
It's like when you order something online and you like get to pick the surprise pack and you don't know what it is, but you know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's like the surprise box. Yeah. I think we'll do that.
I like a good surprise.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah. Every once in a while, you just got to get the little bit of surprise. Yeah. So tomorrow.
Yeah, especially when it's something coming out from under my bed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I don't know if I like that. No. It's like the surprise sex doll, AI sex doll from Asia that you order on Temu. It could have a melted face. It could look really good. I mean, you know, you decide. I don't know. No, I had this.
Don't get the surprise sex doll. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, this show's gone off the rails. So yeah. So tomorrow, it's just your surprise sex doll from Temu. That's what you're getting. I don't know. All right, so that'll do it for today.
I'm scared.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be. No, it'll be good. It'll be a good show. Yeah. So we want to thank you for all you folks have done for us by giving you the surprise sex doll from Temu. But that'll be it for tomorrow. If you have a guest you'd like to hear on the show that's not a surprise sex doll from Temu, you can just email me with your guest suggestion, tim@darknessradio.com. Don't tell me you'd like me to interview the sex doll from Temu. I think that'd be a boring conversation. It would be. Let's face it, Jess.
I don't know. They can talk. They can talk now. They got the AI in them. So
yeah. Well, hearing "Oh, Daddy, please, yes" would be boring for an hour. Just saying. So yeah, send in your guest suggestions, tim@darknessradio.com, and I'll get on that. We are coming up.
Get on that.
Not on the sex doll, Jess. Jeez, come on. We're coming up on Michigan Paracon season 2 in August. Kind of sad. It's, the rumor is it's the last one.
What? That's a bummer.
Well, Brad Blair is retiring from the gig. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I think we're going to get him on this show. That's what we're going to do. We're going to find out what the story is behind this. If it's going to continue. It's the biggest, gosh darn, paranormal conference in the country. Why am I hiccuping? Because I'm drunk, I think. I'm drunk with power and sex dolls. That's the name of my new album. Drunk with power and sex dolls. Anyway, so I digress. The show's gone on too long. For Jessica Freeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow for more Darkness Radio. Goodbye.